Hello, friends. Welcome back to the English Learner podcast, where we explore the fascinating world of languages, pronunciation, and everything in between. And today's episode is going to be a fun and thought-provoking one. We're tackling a big question. What is the most important consonant in English? Now, you might be wondering, wait, does English even have a most important consonant? It turns out some linguists and pronunciation experts think so. And today, we're going to dive into the details. Let's start with the basics. English has 24 consonant sounds. Some of them are pretty straightforward. Think of the M in man or the B in bat. Others are trickier, like the TH sound in think or this. But here's the thing, not all consonants are created equal. Some play a bigger role in how we understand and speak English. Can you guess what it might be? I'll give you a hint. It's one you probably use every day in nearly every sentence, without even realizing it. Got it? Okay, here it is. The most important consonant in English is the letter T. Yes, the T sound. Now, why is T so important? Let's break it down. First, ET appears in some of the most common words in English. Think about it. To, it, at, and that all have a T sound. These are tiny words, but they're used constantly in conversation. Without the T sound, our speech would be much harder to follow. But here's the fun part. The T sound in English isn't always pronounced the way you might think. In many accents, especially in American English, the T doesn't sound like a sharp, crisp T. Instead, it often becomes something called a flap. What's a flap? Imagine how the word butter sounds in American English. It doesn't have a hard T in the middle, does it? It sounds more like budder. That soft, quick sound is the flap. This variation in how we pronounce T makes it flexible and fascinating. Even though it changes depending on the accent, it's still easily recognizable, and our brains fill in the meaning effortlessly. Another cool thing about T is its role in rhythm. English has a natural rhythm, almost like a song. The T sound helps us keep that rhythm. Think of a sentence like, I went to the market. The T sounds act like little drum beats, giving the sentence structure and flow. Now, I know what you're thinking. Does this mean we should focus only on T when learning English? Not at all. Every consonant has its role, and improving your overall pronunciation is important. But paying attention to how you use T can make a big difference in how clear and natural your English sounds. Here's a little exercise to try. Take a sentence like, I want to eat better. Practice saying it with a clear T sound, I want to eat better. Then try saying it with a more relaxed American-style flap, I want to eat better. Notice how both versions are understandable, but they feel slightly different. This flexibility is one of the reasons T is so powerful in English. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. The next time you're speaking English, pay attention to the T sounds. Notice when they're crisp, when they're soft, or even when they disappear entirely, like in some British accents where T is replaced with a glottal stop. Think butter becoming buer. It's a small detail, but it opens up a whole new layer of understanding about how English works. And if you're curious to learn more about this topic, I highly recommend subscribing to my channel. That's all for today's episode of the English Learner podcast. I hope you enjoyed this little journey into the world of English consonants, especially our star of the show, the mighty T. If you liked this episode, don't forget to share it with your friends or leave a review. Keep practicing, stay curious, and as always, remember, every word you learn is a step closer to mastering the language. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.